Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes for ourselves to understand how this meditation can help for us to develop our tranquility state and how it can take us to the wisdom. So when it comes to develop a spiritual path, always you have to remember the faith that you put into the path is very necessary and important. And at the same time, the moment by moment, the clarity is very necessary, because in this path, the most of the resistance and the things come against you, not from the outside, that your own inner behavior become a greater challenge for you. So then you have to recognize it. Otherwise, you start to fight and struggle with something else. The real enemy maybe you don't see. And you may not recognize where to put the effort. Maybe you apply the wrong method. So that's why it's always you have to understand, while you practice, while you going in this path, look into yourself, how your point of view become clear. So always keep the clarity in you, day by day, day by day. It's not because, oh, last week I had it, last month I had it. Don't depend on that. Whatever that, the clarity you gain in this very moment is the important thing. So when it comes to spiritual life, if you look for some kind of spiritual practice, there are two kind of ways that you can develop it. So the one is called go with the principles. So the principles, what is here the principles means? Principles means the Dharma. And go with the Dharma is not easy. Why it is not easy? Because our idea, concept, and our own experience, and sometimes bring some kind of habitual patterns, intellectual habitual pattern to maintain our life. So the principles exists underneath this idea, thoughts, concept, believing, or sometimes the knowledge. So then you have to break it and go through it and recognize the principle. So when it comes to the principles, the very essence of the Dharma life, the very fundamental qualities of the life, the very ground properties of the life, and that is impermanent, unsatisfactory nature, and the selflessness. So, and on the top of that, and we have the effort always to get out of the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So rather than influence the greed, hatred, and the delusion, empower the greed, hatred, or the delusion, you have to get out of it. So that is a way of practice, doing many kind of methods and following many kind of principles. So that's where we come to observe the precepts, disciplinary codes. It will help us to hold it to something rather than our imagination, rather than our thoughts, rather than that whatever our intellectual understanding. So then in any religion, if you look for any spiritual body, go into that the principles and start to follow that. Just knowing is not enough, start to follow the principles. And once you start with your character, with the discipline, and it will take you to the next level. So in Buddhism, it start with the sila, precept, and then the samadhi, tranquility state, and then from there, the panya, or the wisdom. So that is one avenue. And other one is called practical, practice. So by practicing in day-to-day life, then it is not go with the principles, but you are more motivated by yourself, that the being more clear with the moment and the environment, and you bring the more effort to bring have the transformation that whatever you go through. So for that, there are the practice that you can bring. One is accepting all the misfortune without complaining or without anger. That is one thing. So it's nothing to do with whatever the disciplinary code that you practice. So it is a kind of like you develop a mental attitude. So then in day-to-day life, whatever the misfortune happen, whatever the bad things happen, don't get mad about it. Don't get sad about it. Don't complain about it, and accept it. So that is another avenue that you can gain the liberation. It is just not only principles. And maybe sometimes people hold it to principles, they don't develop this quality. So then you have to bring this both. So then remember, accept all the misfortune without complaining or without anger. The second one, accept good fortune without being moved, without being kind of like so excited. So that also a skill that you should develop within yourself. Even especially, not even with the outside world, even when you practice meditation, sometimes little bit when the body or the mind tranquilize, if you get excited, and out of that excitement, we get agitated. So that's what happened most of the time. People don't think about that. And people like to be excited. We like to make other people excited. But after that, what happened? That excitement start to bring all the unsatisfaction. So then accept it. But remember not to be unbalanced out of the excitement. So the third one is, in the practice path, be without craving. So that you have to practice in day-to-day life in each and every way. So this cravingness with the desires, the wanting, and with the material things, and at the same time, remember that all the intakes, or the food or the drinks or anything, what you look for the pleasure, and don't be craving for that. So that is in the practice path, that is one thing that you have to develop. So in day-to-day life, you practice meditation, and at the same time, remember, put some attention on you and try to get out of it. And the fourth one is kind of like a very vipassana way of method that you have to develop in the practice path, or even in the principles. Practice without practice. Practicing without practicing. What does that mean? When you practice it, always you have to be free. Because whatever we practice, remember, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, it creates a pattern. Pattern become a habit. So if you do any good things as a habit in a very conventional life, you may get a result, but it may not going to help for you to develop the wisdom, because it doesn't matter good or bad. The habit is a habit. Then you become kind of like a robot. You just keep repeat. So then that's why you have to practice without practicing. Means in the moment that you have, when the moment that you experience, you have to detach from your past experience. You have to detach from the idea of practicing. That is where really completely you become free. Because otherwise, if we bound to the practice, if we bound to the technique, if we bound to the teachings, if we bound to the method, what will happen? It make you always limited, and at the same time create a prisoner inside you. So practicing should make you free rather than make you a prisoner. So how you can bring the freedom while you practice? Remember, don't develop a formula inside you. Don't develop a method inside you. Don't develop a pattern inside you. Always break it down, break it down. If you repeat it, in case, knowingly do it. Know that what you do. And then your awareness becomes sharper and clear rather than the pattern or the method. So that way, your practice path going to become more and more and more helpful for you to develop your spiritual path. So then there are two ways that you can have access. One is by practicing principles. So then whatever the religions, rather than your imagination or the idea or the concept or your intellectual mind, you have to go into that principles and accept it. And you have to follow that. You have to practice it. So in the by practice part yourself, and there are 4 methods that you have to remember. One is accepting all the misfortunes and without comparing or without getting mad, angry. The second one, accepting all the good without all the fortune, without being moved or without being excited. And the third one, that be without craving. The fourth one, practicing without practicing. So if you are capable to bring this to your life and experience it through you, and you will understand how it creates the freedom for your next moment. And that step by step, moment by moment freedom will bring the transformation or the liberation for yourself. So with this practice, always remember, every day in every way, yourself, it is your responsibility to look into the very condition of the mind and brush up and make it sharp and clear with this kind of teachings and yourself, and then make it kind of like your own method. Because the thing is, each and every person has a different way. It's kind of like from your parents, you get a name, but you have a life that you have to build yourself. So like that, when it comes to us, there is a technique we have from the Buddha, but when we practice by ourselves, by our own effort, by our own wisdom, by our own awareness, we have to move forward. So it is a moment by moment, moment by moment process. So then remember, put some attention on you and recognize and be with it. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. Your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say Suapat Veva, or may I be well and happy. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this evening to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment, with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it. Do nothing extra. Bring attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, and also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chamni sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhamma nu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha paribunjisami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.